I think Joel Kinnaman, or a Joel Kinnaman type, probably Joel Kinnaman, is going to play Kraven the Hunter in the third Spider-Man.
I could almost see Norman Osborn being an ally to Peter Parker, helping him kind of evade Kraven the Hunter.
I feel like Chameleon is pulling the strings.
3, 2, 1. Wish!
WAP party!
Refill up!
And I heard WAP party. Welcome back to New Rockstars. Spider-Man 3 is looking at Joel Kinnaman for a mystery role, but hey, no mystery is too mysterious for nerds to crave over or get us bored of. Chameleon with these puns. Don't click away, please. This is Rogue Theory, the podcast that brings you the wildest nerdy hot takes on the topics you can't stop arguing over. I'm Erik Voss, and with me today to pitch Rogue Theories are America's favorite uncle, Tommy Bechtold.
Hello, you're grounded. Just kidding. There are no rules at Uncle Tom's house.
You're not my dad. You're just his brother. Also joining us.
I raised you! I raised you when your parents died in that barn accident.
Accident.
Okay, that barn on purpose.
Also joining us, writer, journalist, and cosplayer, Laura Sirikul. Welcome to New Rockstars.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here. And hi, Uncle Tommy.
Hi, proud of you.
And rounding out the panel, hunter of the most dangerous game, that being Trader Joe's employees who haven't restocked the apples, off-screen producer Zach Huddleston.
Hello. Top 3
Yay.
apples. I got Envies, I got Honey Crisps, and I got Pink's Crisps. That's
Wow,
right.
yeah, Honey Crisps, that's a good one. I'm a
Yeah,
Granny
but-
Smith guy myself, always have been.
Well,
You're
an
out.
uncle would be into a granny, wouldn't you?
That's
What
right.
does that mean?
Yeah. Zach's
a
in my
mama's boy.
browser. I don't use ExpressVPN when Zach's watching my searches. Speaking
Hey,
of
that's
which.
for later in the episode.
Oh,
Let's move
okay.
on to our first topic. Casting reports for the upcoming Spider-Man 3. Title's still unknown, though we are getting some reports that it might be Homesick, maybe Homespun, maybe Wear a Mask and Stay Home, subliminal messages that are actually helping save everyone's lives. These reports are suggesting that Sony and Marvel are looking to cast a Joel Kinnaman type, with other reports saying that they might just be looking at Joel Kinnaman himself. You know, maybe the gruff fella from Suicide Squad and Altered Carbon will finally get his Marvel debut, or maybe, like for many actors, the role will go to someone less talented who looks exactly like him. So, based on what we know about the Spider-Man narrative and franchise so far, I want to know from you guys, tells us about the mystery plot of the next Spider-Man film. What character are they looking to fill? Zach, why don't you go first?
Okay, thank you, Eric. And I just want to point out, we've seen Joel Kinnaman's one of those guys whose name you might not know, but he's been in a lot of stuff. If you watched The Killing, Altered Carbon, obviously the Suicide Squad, he's going to be in the next Suicide Squad. And what a lot of people maybe don't realize about him, because he's almost always talking with an American accent, is that he's a Swedish fellow. Like those Skarsgårds, right? Like he's from Scandinavia. And you know what accent sounds kind of similar to Scandinavian? Russian. My man's playing Kraven the Hunter, okay?
Ooh.
Who in at least one iteration in the comics is Russian, right? And instead of having Matthew McConaughey do a terrible, or Jason Momoa do a terrible Russian accent, why not get somebody closer to that part of the world, right?
Sure, yeah.
So I think Joel Kinnaman, or a Joel Kinnaman type, probably Joel Kinnaman, is going to play Kraven the Hunter in the third Spider-Man, right? And I think Sony really wants Kraven to be this next villain, not only because he's a great Spider-Man villain we haven't seen in any film version yet, but he gives them a overall spumsy villain that can travel between their properties, right? Kraven can hunt down Venom. He can show up hunting down Dr. Morbius, right? Like all kinds of opportunities. He could be a part of the Sinister Six. He can fight the Sinister Six, right? Like a really powerful chess piece on the Spumsy chessboard.
Ooh, I do love that idea, Zach. And like, Kraven the Hunter seems definitely like the one they're headed towards, either in this next film or some future film. You know what's interesting is, like, when you rewatch the Mark Webb Amazing Spider-Man 2, they had that kind of post-credit thing where they're like, here are the Sinister Six designs and all of our titles. And like, while it seems like that was a scrapped plan, yeah, we had Vulture come up in the next Spider-Man live-action movie we saw. So, yeah, I think Kraven the Hunter, who was also teased in that, has got to be on Sony's wish list. And I could definitely see Joel Kinnaman playing that. Like, just seeing that guy carry a rifle is just so natural, you know? Like, you want to see him patrolling some urban streets and, like, scoping out some areas. It's just, like, his natural instinct, I think, to do that.
And you could see, like, especially the route they've been going with their villains of, like, very grounded, realistic, right? Like, no giant human lizards so far in the, Spumsy, right? And so, like, he would totally fit in there, just being, like, a vaguely Eastern European, questionable, like, cast member from Hostel or something like that, who, like, wanders into Peter Parker's New York looking to, hunt him down, both because he's the superpowered creature and maybe there's some big money behind it, which maybe one of the other theories will cover. But, I think, like, it's a definite, he makes a lot of sense, maybe more sense than some of the other names people have thrown out, both for the villain and for the actor who would play the villain.
Yeah. Well, Zach, to decide how many Sparkle Bucks, the Sparkle Bucks are back, folks, you're going to get, I feel like I'm going to bring in a guest here to decide who or how many you get, and I'm going to let our friend Baby Groot decide. So, Groot, how many Sparkle Bucks is off screen, Zach get? And our video just got flagged for demonetization for unlicensed use of music. But what that means is you get one Sparkle Buck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm awarding you one.
I think what you meant to say there, Eric, is I am Groot worth of Sparkle Bucks.
That's fair. I'm translating for him, but that is technically what he said. And to me, one, it's weird because the words for Groot for 1 and 11 are very similar, but I'm going to round down to 1 just because you kind of gave too much of an opportunity to your co-panelists to say some of the other theories might cover this. This is grab the gold, my friend. It rewards greed, and so you get just 1.
Okay, well, on my end, fittingly, Eric, that turns into a can of sardines. Okay, and now these are sardines in water. I usually prefer the sardines in oil. Don't knock them till you try them, folks. Put this on some toast, okay? And you're eating good.
Sardines!
Yeah, and if you're a shrunken down character in a cartoon, you can use that to sleep in at the end of the night.
Oh, he's right. You just peel the little foil back as a blanket.
That's right. You get a nice little space blanket.
It's really sharp.
That smells like rotting fish. All right, Laura, it's your turn. Who do you think Joel Kinnaman's going to be playing in this next Spider-Man film?
So everyone's like, oh, Kraven. But Kraven has a half-brother, and his half-brother is Chameleon, who Dmitry Smirdyakov, who we've seen already, played by Numar Akar. So Chameleon is a shapeshifter. So I have a feeling either he's a Skrull or the technology that Mysterio took, that guy took it to kind of become anyone. Because, it's the technology that, we could trick, anything could happen. So I feel like Chameleon is pulling the strings. Yeah, maybe Kraven's gonna show up, but his half-brother is pulling the strings and could be anyone. And if you said that, oh, hey, he could be in Venom's world, you know what? Chameleon could be Venom. Like, boom, like, just the character and, like, become that person. So he could be used in multiple universes. And we don't need to use Newman Akar because it could be a disguise, like, for the long run. So I feel like we're going to see, because he's never been used before, he's never been in live action, so I feel like Chameleon's a good choice to be the person behind the strings, like, pulling all the strings. So my take is that Chameleon is going to be pushing for Peter Parker to be hunted.
Laura, you bring up a really good point because at the end of Far From Home, we learned like what Mysterio's operation really was all about, and we learned what like Fury and Hill's operation was all about. And Leftover was just this other operative who was with them, and we don't know whose side he was on, whether he was part of, whether he's like just another Team Fury, because it's not really S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. It's his own kind of weird group that are we to assume all of those people were Skrulls, or like someone had another agenda there? And I think there is something to that guy. It'd be a bit of a bummer for Numan Akar to like have to be like, you'll be in one part of this movie. Hey, he's gotten some work. He was in Aladdin, the live action Aladdin. He's in some other stuff. But like, if he could be one of the many identities that the Chameleon plays.
Yeah, like when Peter looked at him with Edith, it said classified.
That's right. It totally did. I forgot about that.
So hey, he could be. I'm just saying, he could be one of the main villains, and we've been like talking about the other side villains.
Yeah, I agree. That's very interesting. All right, Baby Groot. I know you're from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and your character has aged to a larger age range, and this is a piece of merch that's specific to one movie and not the overall franchise. But what do you think of Laura's theory? That's like the same song that you used last time, and we've been flagged once again. All right, so Baby Groot has awarded you one Sparkle Buck, but then another one because he brought up an Easter egg from a recent videos, and this channel's all about Easter eggs that you might have forgotten about from movies. So you are awarded 2 Rogie Sparkle Bucks.
It turned into, because of Baby Groot, it's related to Jeff Goldblum looking sexy. And he's part of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So I made it relate to it.
He was, yeah. Didn't he show up at the end, or was he in Yeah, he was in like the credits, dancing, setting up Ragnarok. Yeah,
Grandmaster. But then
That's
this
right,
is the
he totally
sexy Grandmaster.
That's definitely worth 2 Sparkle Bucks at least. Tommy, who do you think Joel Kinnaman's going to be playing in Spider-Man 3?
I believe that Joel Kinnaman is going to play a large looming villain, father figure, mentor, nemesis, occasional teammate of Spider-Man. He is going to play none other than Norman Osborn. He's going to play specifically... he's going to play the Norman Osborn from the Ultimate Marvel, based on the Ultimate Marvel. Norman Osborn he's a little more like techie and cool. He's not quite this like he's not as old. He's not as like he's not quite the like far away nemesis of like he's got 40 years on Peter Parker. He's a little bit younger, and I think that's going to introduce a younger Harry Osborn as well, who's going to be like a 16-year-old who's going to look up to Peter Parker a lot to kind of nurture that dynamic between them. So I could see him being, and also the Ultimate Marvel Norman Osborn works very intimately with S.H.I.E.L.D. So it still ties him into the larger MCU if they want to use that character in a like an Avengers movie, if Spider-Man continues through the MCU, obviously. So I think I could see him kind of being like a single father in his early 40s, raising a 16-year-old, kind of like a cooler, more, I guess, like, whereas like Willem Dafoe was like a hero to Peter Parker, like this is a rich guy who has a massive company and is like very distant from Harry. He's going to be a more hands-on father. I don't even know if he'll become Green Goblin in this movie. You know, I could see him just establishing as the Norman Osborn community leader, you know, pillar of the community version. And then eventually turning into a green, evolving into the Green Goblin in a later film in that universe.
That's really interesting, Tommy. So do you think the antagonist of this movie might not be Green Goblin, that like or Norman Osborn? Norman Osborn could be like this background figure the way like Coulson was, and then someone else is the villain?
Or I could see it being I could see them doing the movie. I feel like they really want to do Kraven the Hunter as the bad guy in this movie. But I could see them establishing Kraven the Hunter, and I could almost see Norman Osborn being an ally to Peter Parker, helping him kind of evade Kraven the Hunter, and then ultimately simultaneously in the film testing the super soldier serum that he's working on S.H.I.E.L.D. because that's the Marvel storyline. The Ultimate Marvel storyline is that he's developing the super soldier serum for S.H.I.E.L.D. and testing it out. Ultimately, one of those tests goes wrong, and he becomes the Green Goblin, maybe in a post-credit scene setting up a future battle, or maybe at the very end of the movie. But I don't see him being the main bad guy throughout the course of the film, no.
Yeah. Tommy, you bring up some really interesting points, and I think what I personally... We'll see what Groot has to say, but what I like about it is that... every other time we've seen Norman Osborn in a film, he just appears in one film and he's done. Whereas Norman Osborn is a very important character to Marvel Comics, and you're right. He's a very important like leader within S.H.I.E.L.D., within certain eras of comics, and he keeps coming back again and again in different ways, and it would be a shame just to have him immediately turn to Green Goblin and immediately be defeated. So to have a movie that just like sets him up, and then he can be like a recurring character in the MCU or the Sony side of things from there forward is very interesting. But Groot, what do you say about it? That might actually get flagged because come a little bit closer. They definitely don't want that being used without their permission. So
I just want to point out how Erik has become like one of those villains who's like a ventriloquist, who's like, well, I don't want to kill you, but the dummy does.
One of those villains.
He's Scarface.
I feel like that's a common trope. I've seen a million ventriloquist murderer movies.
Yeah.
It's kind of a subgenre now, right?
If I had a nickel for every time I've seen a guy murder someone and blame it on his ventriloquist dummy, I'll tell you.
It's a weird loophole in like U.S. Sixth Amendment law. You know, like you can't prosecute someone if they could say, because we don't want to acknowledge whether or not magic exists in the Constitution.
That's true.
It's just a thing. It's just a weird thing. So Tommy, Groot awards you 2 Norman Osborn green Sparkle Bucks, but Zach, because both of the other panelists acknowledged your theory as Kraven, you get another Sparkle Buck. So Tommy gets 2, Zach gets another 1.
That's crazy. Those Sparkle Bucks actually transported into practical things. I think they knew that I needed them. It's a VitaFusion men's gummy vitamins for adult men that are afraid to swallow pills, and then a nature-made fish oil capsules that are running low. So time for me to go to the
Speaking
store.
of fish oil, on my end, Erik, that bonus Sparkle Buck turned into a can of tuna. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I could, Zach, I'll mail you some fish oil capsules. You could break them open into your sardines and get that garbage water out of there. Put them in the oil where they belong.
Yeah, just hide it in your tuna sandwich and eat it like how you have to give your dog pills. You hide it in bread.
Yeah.
It works every time. All right, I want to hear these pitches back in tweet form. Zach, give it to us in a tweet.
Okay, Spider-Man Home Invasion. I know Homesick is going around, but I like Home Invasion better. Spider-Man Home Invasion. Kinnaman type? More like Kraven Man type.
Whoa.
It's pretty compact.
Yeah, that's compact. All right, Laura, what's your tweet?
Spider-Man, home at last. I'm trying to think of John Cena. I'm thinking of John Cena for some reason.
We're thinking
I'm
of John
always
Cena
thinking of John
all the
Cena.
time. Yeah.
I keep thinking
I can't
like,
see
like,
him.
at home at last. But
I
you
can't stop seeing him.
I have that in my head right now for some reason.
That's great.
Yeah,
That
great.
would be it. That would be my John Cena to pitch to John Cena as my Spider-Man character.
It's a
I
bold
mean,
move. She used the Cena option.
Some would argue John Cena could be a Joel Kinnaman type. I don't know.
Yeah.
He totally could.
More
Suicide
people
Squad
are probably-
co-star. All right, Tommy, what's your tweet?
Okay, mine is off the top of my head. Joel Kinnaman as Norman Osborn? That's more exciting than Wizard of Oz porn. I hope I don't get the internet scorn. My favorite Star Trek actor is Michael Dorn.
Star Trek. It's almost like you know what our next topic is.
I have no idea. I'm never briefed on this.
I just want you to do all my poems.
Yes.
All right, let us know in the comments below which version of Spider-Man 3 you want to see. Do you want to see all of these? Because I feel like all 3 of these theories are pretty compatible with each other. They could totally work within one movie. Maybe cooperation is the answer. All right, before we continue, we want to thank some people who helped us make this show, starting with our friends at Keeps. So thank you to Keeps for helping make this episode. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. Losing your hair can be a bummer. With Keeps, it's easier and more affordable to get treatment for your hair loss and help you keep the hair that you have. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there, but at half the cost of your local pharmacy. You don't have to go to your doctor's office with Keeps. You can do it all from home. You meet with the doctor online, and they ship the treatment right to your home. And find out why Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, and nearly 100,000 men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention medication. And you see, with that stat, hopefully we're reassuring many of you. 100,000 other men out there are also losing their hair. It's probably even more than that. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't feel bad. It happens to everyone. It's called aging, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. But if you do, Keeps is here to help you. And if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/Rogue Theory to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's KEEPS.com/Rogue Theory. We also want to thank our friends at Bespoke Post for sponsoring this episode. I always like getting deliveries, whether they're things I ordered online or another care package from my prison pen pal, or legal paperwork pertaining to the will and testament of my parents, which is not fun paperwork to get, but it's something that people our age are going through. Once a month, my mailbox is even more exciting, though, because Bespoke Post sends me a box of awesome, and that will clear any bad thoughts you have about any other mail you get. So Bespoke Post sends guys only the best stuff every month, no matter what you're into. Box of Awesome has you covered, from style and grooming goods to barware, cooking tools, outdoor gear. Box of Awesome has carefully built collections for every part of your life. I recently got the Coast Box, which came with a great summery shirt and a waterproof beach wallet. So I have multiple kinds of wallets now they get to use. But when I want to take my wallet to the beach, so that when I'm sneaking booze there and then a cop says you're not supposed to be drinking booze on the beach, I could say, at least I'm 21, sir. And he goes, really? I'm not surprised because you look way older than that. He's one of the commenters on this channel. Bespoke Post also has multiple booze-themed boxes, including a mixed box that has fixins to make a Moscow Mule or spicy margarita. Again, what I'm drinking on the beach. Doesn't matter what time of year it is or how dangerous it is to do. To get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com to pick the right Box of Awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. Each box only costs $45, but has over $70 worth of gear inside. They should just call these treasure boxes because they're filled with treasure. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code ROGUE at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code ROGUE for 20% off your first box. And we also want to thank our friends at ExpressVPN. As Tommy mentioned earlier this episode, sometimes our online research for new Rockstars videos takes us to some questionable directions that we don't want to have in our internet search history because we're doing it for academic reasons and academic only. We do not mix business with pleasure when we're on company time. Otherwise, Still Alive Fimo will hunt us down worse than Joel Kinnaman ever could. It is times like these when it doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browsing history, your internet service provider can still see every site you have visited. It's a scary, scary world. And that is why, whether you are at home or you are at work, or both as we are now, we use ExpressVPN. So ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites you visit. ExpressVPN keeps all your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. It runs seamlessly in the background. Just tap one button and you're protected. And it's available on all your devices, phones, computers, smart TVs, futuristic things that future versions of yourself gave you and said, use this so they can't track you. They can still track you on those. He was tricking you, as all future versions of me tend to do. Protect your online identity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link, expressvpn.com/rogue, and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That is expressvpn.com/rogue, expressvpn.com/rogue to learn more. We now move on to our Discord Rogue Theory. We do this every week. We play a game of Rogue Theory with our patrons on New Rockstars Discord. This week, we had some patrons pitch theories about the 3rd season of Umbrella Academy, now that the 2nd season is out in the world and people are watching it. We had some fun theories this week from Danny X and E. Volger. Our winner this week was Ron Weasley. And if you haven't seen the full season of Umbrella Academy yet, skip to this time. But Zach, you had some thoughts on Ron Weasley's theory. What did you think about it?
Yes, as somebody who just finished season 2 and thoroughly enjoyed it, all 3 of the theories are really good. And with a show that is so nuts, like Umbrella Academy, it really lends itself to great, like, jumping in time and all over the place kind of theories. But Ron Weasley had some great ones where, like, well, not to spoil season 2 too much, but something that's hinted at in the very last seconds of season 2, right, has a big impact over season 3, and there's kind of parallels between two different groups. That's the vaguest possible description I could give, but it was good.
Well, thank you to everyone who submitted this week. We'll do this again, and you can play to have your theory read on an episode of Rogue Theory just by becoming a patron at any level of New Rockstars, and you can join our Discord. You have to be 18 years old or older. Sorry, it's just something we do to protect all the people. We're not camp counselors here. So let's move on to our next topic. News came out this week that Paramount is both prioritizing another Star Trek film and also kind of stuck between 3 options that have been in development for years. There is a 4th film in the Chris Pine, J.J. Abrams, the Kelvin timeline, as it's known, featuring a return of Kirk's father, played by Chris Hemsworth. Remember that? Remember that prologue? Mm-hmm. There was a reboot film penned by Legion and Fargo writer Noah Hawley, and a strange one-off directed by Quentin Tarantino, which he said was based on the original series episode that was set in a 1930s gangster planet. I want you 3 to pitch me on which of those proposed Star Trek films you would most want to see and why. Tommy, why don't you go first this time?
Baby, you know, the only Star Trek that I need to see is based on a piece of the action from Star Trek, the original series, Quentin Tarantino's gangster Star Trek. You gotta be kidding me. Chicago mobsters mixing with my Star Trek friends. Give it all to me. What does Tarantino know how to do? He knows how to create bad guys that you love. He knows how to create people that do despicable things, but you still kind of love them. What is America's obsession with mafia people? They're bad guys that do despicable things, but we still kind of love them. Why do we watch Scorsese movies? Why do I cheer on Robert De Niro in The Irishman as he kills people that may have families for all we know? Nice people. People that just want to sell flowers. People that just want to own a bakery next to another bakery that's mafia controlled. Plugged in the head, and there I am, clapping along. Give me Tarantino making these Star Trek gangsters do despicable things, rated PG-13, so close to R, 3 F words max, and then give me fresh, cast new people. I don't need Chris Pine back. Send him to Wonder Woman forever. Give me a new Captain Kirk. You know, maybe Ricky Gervais plays Captain Kirk. I don't know. He's got the hair for it, doesn't he? He's getting old, though. Let me get back on track here. I need it to be Tarantino. America needs it to be Tarantino. We need movies full of hope. And if you remember the way that episode ends, Kirk essentially tricks the mafia family, the opposing mafia families, into working together because giving the Federation a piece of the action. But he leaves technology on their planet so that they can learn how to use Federation communicators. So, like, it's a total power struggle, power grab. It's a rags to riches story, and it's what this world needs right now as we all struggle through the pandemic. I rest my case.
All right, Tommy, I'm going to let Baby Groot weigh in on this. That's all he had to say. Okay, shut up. Okay, I'm sorry. He can't stop talking.
Okay.
Groot awards you 1 just because while we would love to see Quentin Tarantino's take on anything, that episode of Star Trek sucked. And I don't want to see that world. I want to see Quentin Tarantino write his original stories. I don't want to see his take on a genre franchise. I love Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite directors. I don't need to see him do Star Trek at all.
Okay, and that Sparklebuck came through into my screen as a, how dare you insult Quentin Tarantino? No, just kidding. It came up as a bottle of Night Shred from Immuno Subs. This bottle of Night Shred was supposed to come in 7 to 10 business days, but took over a month. But they sent me an apology and a 25% off coupon for some sort of beet formula, as if I need to take beets in a formulaic method. You eat them, you boil them, you put them in a salad. Nice. Beets are pretty simple. You could juice them if you want. Anyway. It's an Immuno Subs. Yeah. Order them if you want, but don't expect them in 7 to 10 business days.
All right, Laura.
It takes a lot to keep this machine running.
All right. Okay, so everyone loves Fargo. Everyone loved the new the Fargo that they had on FX. Everyone loved Legion. So it's not a bad idea to have him do a new Star Trek. So Star Trek is about the future and how we want hope for the future in this dystopian world and all that stuff. So the idea that he had before Corona happened was a pandemic happening in space where a deadly virus is happening. So his idea is to, of course, like they're gonna figure out a way to solve it with new characters and everything. So that's hopeful for us, guys. We're in a pandemic. I'm talking to you through here instead of the studio. So in the world of Star Trek, it would be great to have a solution as well. Like, oh no, there's lost hope. It's because it's happening in the world. But then, in the end, hope prevails. And his new characters, I'm hoping it will be canon, following my favorite Jean-Luc Picard, because he wants new characters and new stories. So if he were to do a new story, then why not have a little bit of Picard and some of the other lovable characters like Janeway, because they're the same age and same timeline. In the Kelvin universe. So that's my take on what he's gonna have planned, and the hope that we have. It's on hold right now, but once it starts going, I feel like it's gonna be a hopeful end. Just like hopefully this pandemic will have a hopeful end, and that's my take.
Laura, what I really like about your take is like when I heard that they might have been leaning away from Noah Hawley doing the pandemic version, I was really bummed out because, like, yes, it's a dark thing that we're all going through, but you are right. This is something we are all going through, and I would hate that like studios are now afraid to do certain stories just because they remind people of our lives. If anything, that's what we want. Like, yes, some movies are escapism, but movies are also designed to reflect back our world and teach us new ways to process our world. And movies that are just pure escapism, that's why I hate when people are like in the comments, they're like, why are you reminding me of certain things? Like, I watch new Rockstars videos to escape. It's like, then you are not truly understanding anything you watch on TV or film, because every writer isn't trying to just get you to forget about your life. It's trying to get you to reframe and process your life. So I really, really hope that like this doesn't decrease the type of viral stories, because like we need to learn from what's happening right now. We need to learn like how not to make the mistakes that we're making, and we need to see what happens when our fictional characters go through the heightened versions of this or sci-fi versions of this. So I love that idea, but again, it comes down to what Groot has to say. It's like you have two versions of things you could say. And I think it's like the old Woody thing, like, there's a snake in my boot. Like, he's kind of running out of juice. We've had that for quite a few years. But Groot gives you 2 sparkle bugs.
Ooh.
Wow.
And that will turn into... What? Is this Jean-Luc Picard in bobblehead form? And wait, what's this?
Oh.
It's a photo of Erik telling me. Wait, let me see if you guys can see it. It's a photo of Erik telling me to give me another one. Give me another. What? Give me another one. Okay.
That was sneaky. You're gonna lose one for that. You lose one, and you lose your photo for me. It's going back in the stock. So nice try. We don't allow cheating here.
Oh my God!
And I'm not afraid. I am not afraid to drop the law. But still, very interesting take, Laura. And I hope that we're able to see Noah Hawley's vision at some point. Zach, what is your theory?
First off, I want to say I love Laura's pandering there. Pandemic, more like panderdemic.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. So my pitch, I think, is maybe the most logical one, and that's just give us a 4th Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, J.J. Abrams' broad Kelvin universe movie. Okay. We got 3, and I've enjoyed those. I think maybe they've maybe been a little bit diminishing returns. Or maybe they peaked with the second one into darkness a little bit. I mean, the fan base is a little torn there, but I've really enjoyed them. I think that's a great cast. I've liked the direction they've taken it. And they haven't had a chance to like wrap that series up, right?
That's
and
true.
I think though historically Star Trek movies don't usually wrap things up, right?
No.
They keep making them forever until the cast dies.
Yeah.
But I would, or until they no longer make any money. But I would like that, like, if they're able to pull this off, and I know they're going to have to open up the bank to pay Chris Hemsworth and the rest of that cast, but like do it, right? Because like, to come back to Papa Kirk after we kind of started with him, right? Like really kind of close the loop and tell a full story with the Kelvin universe. I would love that. And I think that could be like a really powerful story to tell. I also think it gives them the opportunity. Star Trek TV continues to do good stuff. CBS All Access and Picard, all this kind of stuff, right? Like, and there's this Strange New Worlds show possibly coming down the pipeline. It gives them the chance. The Kelvin timeline has not directly connected to any active TV properties yet, right? But this gives them the opportunity maybe to do that, right? To kind of like, while completing their story, to also kind of subtly hand off the baton, maybe to be continued on some kind of streaming show or another film franchise or something like that.
Very interesting. Zach, I'm with you. I watched all of those Kelvin timeline movies. I watched them opening weekend in the theater. I was disappointed by the third one, but I'd be willing to watch a fourth one. Groot, what do you think? You have like 3 things you can say. What are you, me?
Okay, this is not Baby Groot's fault. It's your fault, Eric. You can't rely on a magic 8-ball to make all your decisions, okay?
I defer responsibility whenever I can. And Groot gave you... Well, that's the thing. He said he wanted to give you 3, but because he had to call me out, I'm deducting 2. And you just get 1.
Wow! Wow!
Well, you know what? You know what? Your 1... becomes 3, okay? This is 3 pack of tuna cans, baby. And though it's one thing, it's got 3 cans in it.
Are you sharing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tuna for everybody.
If I recognize that green hue, those are packed in oil.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. It seems like we are tied in our Sparkle Buck counts, but it is anyone's game as we move on to Rogue Questions. Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Question 1. The Conjuring director James Wan is making a Knight Rider movie. What would you like your talking car to be able to do?
For me, I would like my talking car to heal me the old wounds I had of learning to drive with my parents. I would like it to have my parents' voices complimenting me on how good of a driver I've become. Like if I do a nice turn, they're like, "Wow, Tom, real control of the vehicle. That's really nice. You seem to be in control there. You're definitely mature enough to have a car and drive after 9 p.m. And it wouldn't panic, and it wouldn't talk on its cell phone when I was driving to my road test, psyching me out as I was driving down the highway. And then they wouldn't get divorced because they'd be stuck in my car forever."
So I'm a meat freak. So I do eat in my car, and I spill a lot of crap on it, like when I eat, and I'm like, oh, I have to vacuum it later. I want the car to clean itself. I want it to be like, oh, you spilled something. Zoop. It's clean. It's like I don't need to worry about. And I could be like eating a hot dog, and it's all splatters, and it's like clean. So I want it to I want to be able to eat and not gain weight, but also to like have it be clean.
That does sound like a dream car for sure.
Mine's simple. I just want mine to be able to tell me when a warning light is serious or not serious. Because, they all light up, and sometimes it's just like, oh, one tire's a little low, and other times it's like your car's about to blow up. I just want a car that tells me what to take seriously.
I'm not messing around, Zach. You need to go in and get service. This is not a drill.
Yes. This time your car's actually on fire. Zach gets the point on that one because I think we can all relate. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's probably another can of tuna. Question 2. Cardi B's new song WAP, or WAP, has become a viral sensation. But what is the nerdiest thing the acronym WAP could stand for?
I'll go first if everyone's feeling a little shy. It stands for Wario Ass Pussy. That's a pussy that looks very normal and is super enjoyable, but you realize when you get in there, it's evil and is the opposite of what you thought it was going to be. So, yeah, you want to watch out for Wario Ass Pussy, guys.
No.
My mom
That's
watches
what I call
these.
mine, I guess. I actually had a clean answer, but now I'm kind of
Thank you.
oh dang.
No, please cleanse the palate.
I would say warping across planets because we were talking about Star Trek.
Oh. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
But now
Much
I'm
better.
like, oh, like, Orphan the Cross skin. I'm kidding.
Tommy, what have you done to the show?
I know, Uncle Tommy. What the heck, man?
I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. My fault.
Yeah,
My
but
fault.
warping,
broke the
warping
dam.
across planets because we were
That's
talking
right.
about Star
That's
Trek.
good.
Okay. Both great
And
answers.
I was gonna go with mine is Wakanda always provides, which is the Wakanda-based universal basic income. They got enough money in that Magic Mountain to pay everybody monthly. Or of course Wakanda ass.
Yes. Yes.
Tommy, for pulling us down to the gutter with you, you get the point for that one.
Oh, great. And it becomes probiotics from Culturel.
Not a sponsor of the show. And our third and final rogue question. A Japanese company has developed a socially distant drive-in haunted house where your car gets sprayed with blood. Whoa. What is the creepiest thing that could happen in a drive-through haunted house?
If I were to go through a drive-through haunted house, I don't know how political we're allowed to say, but if I were to see Trump pen signs everywhere, driving in the neighborhood with a whole bunch of Trump pen signs everywhere,
yes.
and
Yes.
the southern kind of things, I'll be like,
Yes.
turn around.
Oh no! I got off Interstate 10 in Florida Panhandle suburb. I gotta turn around.
I'm like, that's my nightmare. Let's turn around.
Yes.
That's a good one. I think mine would be, this kind of calls back to Laura's first rogue question answer. Mine would be the grumpy or grumpier old man move of you take a dead fish and you throw it in somebody's car. And then, you get the ghost of a dead fish smell haunting your car for months and months.
That's the guy who has the
that's-
fish cans.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yes. For me, the scariest thing that could happen in a drive-through haunted house would just be it becomes a functioning car wash, because those are terrifying. The assault that your car takes as they recklessly spray water at you out of cannons and then slam chamois cloths all over it. There's nothing more claustrophobic and terrifying to me than the 3 minutes of car cleansing that takes place in a car wash. So,
And I assume you haven't seen the Final Destination scene that is set at a car wash. You just hate the normal car wash experience.
to me, every car wash is a Final Destination because I always abandon my car afterwards.
You go through a lot of cars. Well, the winner of that point is going to go to Laura, because I agree.
Yeah.
That, for me, would be the most frightening surroundings.
Yeah.
Well, that evens our scores. What have I done giving everyone points, making it even? Well, I like to think all of us are winners today.
Yeah.
So whatever wish you might have had in your head, think on it for a second, and we're all going to yell it into the screen at the same time. And then hopefully they'll all come true. But it has to be at the same time. All right? Everyone got your wish in your head?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Wish!
WAP party!
Refill up!
And I heard WAP party?
Yeah, that was my... that was my wish.
Wance is always working for the WAP. All right. Well, that is this episode of Rogue Theory. I want to thank our guests. This has been so much fun. Tommy Bechtold, America's uncle.
Mwah.
Laura Sirikul, once again, welcome to Rockstars. So glad we could get
Thank
you on.
you.
It's been a delight.
Yay.
And off-screen producer, Zach Huddleston.
Always a pleasure, Admiral Voss.
Yes.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Rogue Theory podcast feed. Stay tuned for the YouTube channel for this and other shows. We got a week full of very exciting DC-related content. We're breaking down Man of Steel tomorrow for tomorrow's video. Definitely want to check that out. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at EA Voss. Follow the channel at New Rockstars. Always having great infographics and stuff that's fun to share and debate about on there. See you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.